Oh, it's unmuted. All right. Well, welcome to Friday Night Games and Stocks with a Stockalypse. I'm just sitting here. I've got Everquest up again. I'm going to be playing a little bit of that. I'm hoping to try the new Diablo. All right. I'm usually too cool to play games right when they come out, but I wanted to try this one right when it came out because I'm shallow and this is when people are looking for this content. So I thought, all right, I better do this, dude. I can't be passing this up. I'm looking at it the way I would look at stocks. Like if I saw an opportunity in stocks that I knew was an opportunity and didn't do anything about it, I'd feel really, really bad afterwards. And that happens a lot, actually. There are opportunities that I knew I should have gone for, or maybe even partially did go for, but gave up. And it just crushes you when it goes by. So when that kind of stuff happens, you sit back, you reevaluate, you see what you can do about it, and then you move on. And the way you reevaluate is you take a little time off, you let your brain rest. That's one thing I think we don't do quite as much because it's really busy these days, is take some time off to let your brain rest. Those times where you're doing some like simple task that's repetitive but enjoyable to you, that's what we're talking about. Allow the brain to focus on something simple that it can just relax on, and then you, whatever's separate from that, can take a step back and relax. Because it's like you're always blaming that for being hyper. The physical part that's being hyper. So you try to get that to stop. And if you do, then you're like, oh, well, what do I do now? Well, what you do now is you figure out those problems that you've been thinking about. For example, stocks. How do I make money with stocks? That's a real problem to sit down and think about, and it's an important one. It's like which character is going to do what in your favorite story? That's one thing, unless you're writing. But what financially affects you, that's important. And that's what I've been trying to focus on. So I haven't really been trading recently. I'm looking into these other groups and they're talking about little things here and there, but there's so much uncertainty with people. I don't think very many, I think a lot of people are actually kind of waiting. There are always people that are betting and going crazy, but I think a lot of the trader majority, the ones that have stuck around, are doing that. And here's what's impressive about this. So we've had, 2 years, a little more than that since the pandemic started. There was this huge drop right when everything happened. And ever since then, it's been on the rise. So it was like almost a year and a half, 2 years, let's just call it, of elevated markets after that. Even though we came down, we didn't come straight down. We had this bump. Every single important point, we had a bump last year. And that's kind of how we're moving now. We're moving up, but we're in the denial phase. I've been looking at this the whole time, and I've been in denial, and I know I've been in denial, but I've been staying back from the plays that would normally take me the other direction, just in case. And turns out I was right. It's going up. And I thought it was, but it's really hard to recognize when it actually is, because in the long term, it looks so much faster than it was. Those moves back in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s, those crazy ones that you see, those happened relative to those times. And it's hard to translate that into what we do now. So I'm looking at these things and people are seeing the market from their perspective, from the perspective of somebody that got in around the pandemic. So think about what gets you in. It's this huge drop. There are so many different reasons to get in. Some people get in because the market keeps going up and they're like, well, it keeps going up. Why am I not doing this? And maybe they get in at the wrong time, but maybe they don't. So there are the people that look at that direction and just try to get in. Then there are the people that look in the other direction and they're right sometimes, but not all the time. So it's really hard to make money in the other direction as well. So if you're trying to go up, that's pretty easy in the long term. But in the short term, it doesn't seem like that. You don't see the trend. What you see is wild movements that can't be explained. But you're watching level changes of huge money. Sometimes in the upper levels, it's the huge money is set and it's the little money that's moving things a lot. Because small volume will move things way more than you expect. People pay too much attention to how much volume comes in. Like, oh, there's a bunch of volume that confirms the move. And yes, it does when there's a big trend going. But after that, when everything is set, the big money only has so much time to trade because of their liquidity issues, their ability to actually move money. They're going to pause and everyone else is going to keep going. And the reason the prices go up isn't because there's actually a physical hard stop. It's because they're sitting there mentally thinking about, this is where I want to be. So it has nothing to do with what is actually going on. It's just the mental state. So if there are fewer players on the field and they're all thinking the thing's going to the moon because they're inexperienced, and most people that are experienced are out or maybe in denial, but not doing stuff in the market for whatever reason. So the rest of them can drive the price up like crazy. And that's what happens at the end of bull markets. You look at the end of Bitcoin, people think above this price. They think of it in levels above this price. It's like this price is showing you where the equilibrium actually was. That explosion beyond this point, which is not that far off from the 20K mark. For years, the 20K mark was where it needed to get to. And once it got to that point, it wasn't recognized as this point. Now it was a new game, because everybody else that came in that brought it up to that level unknowingly were now dictating where it was going, and they didn't see what happened down there. So it's going in all kinds of crazy directions, and it has a chance to pump higher. So that 30 to 60 pump was crazy fast. And that was the point where it looked like it was going up all the time, and it was going so quickly, and you were getting angry every day because you didn't catch it and it was moving. And when you did try, whenever it was, it didn't work out. So a lot of people are having that same experience because it's very hard to get away from the pull of the move in that direction at that time. It's hard to explain, to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. But there's a way things function in reality, and there's a way things are kind of painted in the way you think of them in your head. And I'm trying to get to the part that's actually moving, just enough to make the money I need to survive. So that's my goal. Right now, trading's a side hustle. It's a thing to practice. It's a thing to get better on, but it's a thing to use to make money. And when you're successful at it, it can really help. And it also leads to knowledge of other financial positions. So just managing your money in general. It's not just about stocks. Because once you get into stocks, you start getting really tired of stocks. You start really getting annoyed and fed up with stocks because it's harder than you think. So you start looking at other things, and you think, okay, well, maybe it's not just stocks. Maybe it's a combination of things that will actually let me make this money. And that's what I think is important about it, because you go from thinking of money as just a thing, and it's evil, and it's a way to buy things and move stuff around, and a necessary kind of liquidity feature of how the market functions. But it really is more than that. That's what I'm trying to find out. You know, I look at these moves, and I think right now there are so many people in denial that we're going past the point we had been stuck at for quite a while. So we're on, is the SPY up right now? Yes, the SPY's up. So I have a different setup. I'm trying something different. It's going to be difficult to do everything. So I don't know if this is going to be easy, but I'm here. I need to move a little bit because I don't want to actually get stuck. So that was one thing. I realized watching these things, I sit and talk. The computer blue screened right when I got up to do stuff in the game. I was saying, all right, I don't play very much. And then when I do, this is what happens. So now we're back. We're in the desert of Row. I didn't really get that far into Fallen. Trying to go from the 99 perspective. I was talking about that last week. But right now, I'm just looking to level a little bit and then get off because, you know, most of the time's wasted up already. Stupid thing blue screened. I had to change it all. I was trying to do Diablo 4. I tried to get that set up. It didn't go. I need to add so much more than I actually had. So I just backed off and popped EverQuest back on just to kind of close it out here real quick. So I was on a thought with everything. People don't really take the move of the market seriously. And when they've been betting on it for a while, they get all these ideas in their head about where it should go. Those can blind them from seeing where the market's actually going in the midterm. So that's what I usually count on. I count on that little drift in either direction or the other that's part of the trend and not just the current move. Like the current news cycle, the catalysts that are driving things. There's also an underlying piece of the puzzle that you're watching, and there's where the money goes and who is controlling that, who's working with that. So you're thinking about, all right, the money's going this way, the stocks are moving this way. There's a good chance that it's probably going to continue to move up because market makers want to keep it going. I'm not paying any attention to this battle, which I should be, but at least it looks like I'm doing something. So I need to be debuffing this thing because it's yellow to me. I'm out here in Row acting like I'm still fighting skeletons so I can just talk, but I can't. You know, the computer crashed, so I got to get it back and running. Diablo's not working, so here we go. I was going to play Diablo 4, so I did play it a little bit, actually. I thought, you know what? I said I was going to do it. I saved it for this moment. I didn't want to. I'm only doing it because of the streaming thing. So I'm doing it, and it's great. I thought it was cool. I only played it for a few minutes, really. I got through the first thing, kind of got to a point where I felt comfortable. I leveled up once, and it's like, all right, well, this is kind of cool. I like this. I'm hearing nothing but good so far, and that's kind of what I'm thinking too. But I haven't gotten that deep into it, so I'll have to see how it goes. But it was definitely interesting. I've been playing this game for a long time, and I've been talking about old games, and this is like a new version of an old game, which is really interesting because it just shows you it's been around for a long time now. These kind of things were new when I was getting into them at first. It was really interesting to see. Oh, let me go. Need some life anyway, but I'm going to win. See, you can just ignore it and you kind of win. Look, always need that. Boom. Carapace. Cracked. Basic one. That works. But that's what I wanted to do. Oops, someone's corpse. Not going to loot that. And I still have mana. If I can find some little thing. Sometimes there's like lower level things that are still blue to you. You can get a little life from them. There you go. Maybe that, but I don't want to get poisoned. That's the one thing you start thinking about, like, yeah, I could do that. I don't want to get poisoned, though. I don't want to get stunned. Heal a monster. See, these things, they always stun you. That's one of the worst things when it happens over and over again, because all I can remember from basilisks in Fedor was, like, you go out there, you get stunned, and you run, and it's just, like, stun over and over again. You don't make it back. They don't hit that hard. They just grind you down over time, and that was annoying. It was like, I'm trying to I'm trying to do something here. I'm just trying to level up, and this thing's so hard to kill. It's annoying. Oh, and my pet. I forgot. So I have spells now. Last time I was just kind of messing around, and I had spell. Well, I guess last time I went into the Fallen dungeon, and I messed around a little bit, but I didn't really get to go in there. So I was like, all right, I need to be higher level to actually go in there and just look around, because that's what I wanted to do, is look around the place that used to be this crazy thing. And really, I was trying to participate in it, but being a week or 2 weeks late, it's over at that point. When the game was first starting, it took a while for people to figure out how to play these things. And it was interesting to have the same kind of environment come up again, but it's quick. It doesn't last as long. So that's too bad, but at least you count on it every year. So it's something you can look forward to, which is nice. And I'd rather have that than it just not being updated at all. So that's good. Oh, those are so great. But I'm playing it from the 99 perspective, first person, mouse, everything. I'm not using much keyboard yet, except, well, I mean, you got to move with the keyboard, but just kind of adjusting things with the screen the way it was. It wasn't widescreen, so I've got this kind of scrunched in screen, and really that's just so I could put the chat and everything over here and keep things less busy. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to keep the look somewhat similar to what it was when it first came out, which was like your name and your life and everything up here, and then some spells over here, the screen in the middle, chat on the bottom with no... it wasn't, well, one view wasn't see-through, but the other one was. And whoa, see, there's people looking for groups all over the place, which is great. That's what I'm looking for. But tonight, I wanted a group, but I'm just so stressed out from the freaking computer crashing thing. I'm just gonna probably run around and do some 99 shit. That's what I'm looking for. But I'll see what we got. There's corpses everywhere, but ooh, that's a skeleton. Wow, here we go. I mean, these things are blue. Want to get in there? Loot it, dude. People leave. What is that? Oh, that's the thing. You get one of it. It's, I don't know. I'll take one because they're all over the place. I know these things. That's probably what these things are mostly filled with. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm gonna get attacked. Cool. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, I have harm touch. Like last time, I life tap and then harm touch. I went as far as I could in this battle, and I just died. It was too bad, but I kept coming back. Life tap is amazing, even at the low first level thing. You can keep coming back and having some kind of chance. Like if you can come back long enough for somebody to heal you, that helps. But you know, it's quick sometimes. But that last one was crazy. It was like every single time they knocked me down, the spell hadn't finished and brought me back up, and I just kept doing it. I thought I was done, but I was never done. And now I'm here. That's great. So that was interesting. Bone chips. Always want bone chips. You can get free stuff with bone chips. That's why I always save them. And now that they have a shared bank, it's like, oh, it's the dream of when I first played this game. It was so hard to transfer stuff. There wasn't like a shared bank or anything. So you just kind of throw things on the ground and log off and log back on the character you wanted it to be, or traded it through somebody if you were lucky. Like if you're playing by yourself and nobody was around, then it's like, good luck, do the thing. But you could be on dial-up. You could be on some kind of broadband or higher speed internet at the time. Most likely it wasn't. It was some kind of dial-up. And I guess a bunch of people on T1s and dial-up. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of DSL at that point, which people don't even know what DSL is anymore. That's when things became digital, basically. Well, I mean, not became digital, but just switched over to a completely different format that suited the computer age and not the previous analog age. And that was an interesting time. Now we're here. It blows me away. Like, this was current technology, and now it's like, it's ridiculous. This little screen stuff, I could probably fight that. Yeah, it's running into those places. There we go. See, first person experiencing it. It's cheesy. Everyone else does this, which I understand. I mean, this is Diablo view. This is third person. It's cool to be third person. Don't you wish you could be third person in your own life sometimes? Like, that would be amazing if you could see everything from different angles and still come back to first person. But that was the thing at the time. It was like everyone was looking for a certain type of game, and there were only a few different types of games. They're very broad. All the diversity hadn't showed up yet. It was amazing how those simple games were so fun and worked so well. Because I guess one thing is it's easier on a network. Like, the simpler it is, the easier it is to send it around. Although I think the coding and the way it's set up doesn't necessarily mean it's easier. The whole thing's just crazy to me. It's still going, and I'm glad, because this was fun when I was a kid. Just running around first person looking for stuff, pretending you're in the desert, fighting mummies and shit. There's no mummies, man. But they'll disease you, dude. I want something like skeletons, man. I'll take the skeletons, even the ones I cast, although they have damage shields, which sucks. Trying to avoid that. See, told you, those things are everywhere. And I'm never going to use them. I say I'm going to use them, but I don't. It's the way it goes. You're like, oh, that thing. I'm just going to take it to get rid of the corpse, because I don't want to put slash corpse or remove corpse or whatever it is. Oh, there we go. A madman. Oh, no, that's him buffing himself. Dang it. There we go. Ooh, no, I don't want the pet to tank. That pet is not strong. I have to take everything. He's buffed up. He's going to get me. He's a caster. Start early on the life tap. Oh, I'm rooted. Dude. This guy. See, now you can't move. Now you can go third person. That's what you want. I'm stuck in first. Now I want to be able to go to third. That's our brain's reality right there. Oh, I'm stuck again. It's caster. See, back in the day, casters were so much scarier than just regular violence individuals. Because casters could do all kinds of things. It was like, did you just get like a blasty caster or one that can play tricks on you? That was the difference. It was like, it played tricks on you in ways you weren't used to. I mean, now everybody does stuff like that, but it was interesting to see this real-time game. Like, I just want to look up, but I'm stunned. So I'll go to third person, I guess. Doesn't let you do... Okay, there we go. Back at first. Oh, I'm stunned again. It's just nothing but stunning. That's why I didn't like the basilisks. I'm gonna die, bro. Go, spam this thing. I'm not paying attention. I'm talking. Get it. Get it. I don't know. Have the mana to do it. Oh, he's running. I'm not even paying attention. I'm still stunned. That's dumb. I'm rooted. I'm not stunned. What am I talking about? I'm rooted. I'm still rooted. That's what I mean. Oh, see, this is what sucks. But at least I have a pet. He can keep track of it. Because he's not going to be able to kill it. It's yellow to me, and that thing is such a low-level skeleton. It's not even funny. Oh, it's doing something. There we go. As long as something else doesn't go on. Oh, there we go. I'm free. I can go. Get out of here. Still gonna get it. I'm just gonna laugh. Something comes up and smashes the skeleton. That's what I'm expecting. Oh, there's a mummy right there. I didn't grab it. Good. I want that thing. It gives you disease that lasts. I think at some point you get cure disease as a Shadow Knight, but I don't remember. I hope you do because that's so helpful. I'm thinking that's why I'm a Shadow Knight, because I'm really a warrior, but a warrior can only fight in this game. It's just a basic level model of everything. So I want to be able to be a warrior that can actually do stuff. I can cure disease. I can kind of heal myself. I can damage. I can debuff. I can buff. I can do all these different things. I have harm touch. Like if things are really going south and I got one monster on me, I can just insta-kill it if I need to. But that's I think 2 or 3 hour recovery, maybe 1 hour. I don't know at this point. It's no more than that. It used to be like a day or something, or a couple days. I don't know. And at some point, it got crazier. There we go. Let's go with this. See, mouse only. It's so inefficient to play this way, and this is just how I played. I mean, other people did it with the keyboard, but you got to think most people didn't know how to play games, and that's how everybody was playing it. I watched so many different people play this game, and they all did it the same way at first. And then later on, as things progressed and like things became more competitive, I forgot that I was dying, and the thing ran up to me. So now I'm really in trouble. I should. They did it. I gotta spam this thing. I'm talking right here. I'm not paying attention. This is why I said I just wanted to stay still. But the game will kick me out, or the video looks boring when I'm just standing still. So I'd rather have this like cheesy zombie shank me barely. Look at how far away we are. They're super far away just doing this. I wish real life combat was like that. It would be so much easier. You could just be like, okay, we're done. It'd be cheesy as hell. We could all be embarrassed, which we all need to be embarrassed and just shut up. That's just what's going on with everything in society. Stop stressing. That's why I went with the trade. So the part I never got to, as I die, and I should be spamming this, which I'm not. I'm just letting myself die. I was dumb. I could have won that if I'd continued spamming, but I got caught up in what I was saying yet again, dude. Should have finished the fight first. All right. So yeah, I made a trade that went better than that fight. Shit. Let's try this again. So while we're getting back from that, I made a trade. I've been preserving my money. The reason is the market's not moving quickly in any direction. It has a trend, but it's hard to guess which direction it's going to move on any given day. So when you get a move, you take advantage of it if you can see it. So the only thing that I felt comfortable with in this whole time was seeing a Beyond Meat squeeze that was obviously a squeeze that the next day had to come down just a little bit, unless the days were pumping, which they weren't probably going to. We just had this crazy event, and we're waiting for one more. So yeah, we got the debt ceiling. That wasn't the big one. Now it's the Fed. Because we're talking about, is this over? Is this tightening cycle over? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I should be sitting at this point and regenning the mana a little bit. Medding. But you have to actually practice. I don't know if my dude is, but yeah. So the market is waiting for the Fed. And that's what I'm doing too. I thought, great, the debt ceiling's gone through. We knew it would. It's the political cycle, the media cycle. That's what we have to think about. We're always watching the media cycle, whether we want to admit it or not. We're getting influenced by it. It's influencing our emotions too. So we're focusing our attention based on that. It's not about what we're doing or what we're consuming in the echo chambers. It's what we're focusing our attention on, and that is keeping this thing going. So it's probably going to move the way it's going to move. And the government is probably going to have to put its money where it needs to go because there are debts to be paid. So how do you pay the debts? You create the money. How do you create the money? You create the show. So when you do create the money, people don't think things have changed. They're so afraid of things changing that they're willing to just ignore it all and keep spending and living as they were as long as things hold them up. So that's what you do. Even though there's a scare, you do that. And you get your money's worth and you keep going because people short, people try to move the market in different ways, and they take advantage of that. Smaller players get eaten up. The ones that are super bearish, super bullish, going outside of the trend, they're the ones that get burned. So I thought, all right, here's Beyond Meat. It's super high up. It's got no reason to be up this high this quickly. I'm looking for everything. I'm not seeing it. I thought this is probably one of those things that depending on how we open tomorrow, it's probably going to drop back down somewhat, even if it continues to go later. And sure enough, I was right. So I bought a tiny position in it. I think some out of the money calls are super cheap. Dumped out of them the next day. Thought, all right, that's what I thought right in the middle of the day. Could have got a little bit more, but I think I got enough. If you look at the huge move and then you see what I could have gotten, it's a whole different thing. So I took advantage of that, and then the market started going in all these different directions that I thought, all right, I'm glad I'm out. So sometimes that's what you have to do. What's the sure move? Get out of it quickly. Yes, there's going to be more, but just get what you can and move on. So that's what I did with that. Debt ceiling, took that. That was obvious. So the other one was Beyond Meat. That looked obvious too. Took that. Decent, almost doubling, probably like 30-40%, somewhere around there. It was pretty interesting. I thought, all right, here we go. This is the same thing that happens all the time with Beyond Meat. There's so many shareholders that have to move when this squeezes that this thing's going to come back as it corrects back to the price. Because that squeeze means on the day there were people that were super desperate to get in. Organizations, whatever entities, not just like individual traders, it's everything in the market. There was pressure on those people to get in when they did. And the reason they were doing that is because the flow of cash was going to go where it was going to go anyway. And that's why in people's minds, they think, okay, here we go. So I'm going to follow that. It's a cycle that repeats itself. They could change each other, but they're hooked together. So I just bet on the direction of the market, took that, and here we are. What am I doing now? I'm waiting again. Got the Fed meeting. That's what I want to see. Are we going to stop raising rates? Because that's a big deal. Are they going to skip a meeting? That's another possibility. Or are they going to raise rates? Which is another possibility. There are 3 possibilities, maybe 4, if you think about the other ones that we're not even talking about, or 5 or 6. But those are the main reasons, and those are the drivers of the move. So I'm going to hold off for that. If they say we're tightening, there's going to be a little bit more pain. If they say we're pausing, I think there's going to be elation because they think it's over. If they say we're skipping, that's going to be a little bit more volatile because it shows confidence, but it shows it's not that much confidence. We're going to have to come back from something. So I'm watching both of those right now, waiting to see what they say. And if it's any of the other directions, you just continue the strategy. You just continue buying what you can as a long trader and looking for the trades with a little bit of your cash. That's the whole move. You know, it's like work with your money long enough. You're going to figure out, what do I do? How do I hedge it? What am I doing? I'm looking, all these people have agendas. How do I actually manage it? We'll just put it in things that grow and diversify those things. If you have some cash, it's not bad to just have cash. People think cash is bad. No, cash earns interest, and right now you're earning interest, so I think cash is a great idea. That's why things are falling so much, because people are thinking, stocks are volatile, but I'm guaranteed this much percentage. If I can get 3, 4, 5, 6% easily, I'd take that as a guarantee over the risk of a trade going to the moon, because trades fail most of the time. You want the easy income. That's why bonds are so popular, because those are the things that just transfer the money in the direction you think it's going to go. And you could just bet on the way it goes continually in a responsible way, and it'll feed you. It'll pay off over time. You know, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a strategy that continues to work in different markets. And if you've been around for a few years, you've adapted. Even if you're not doing perfectly, you've still adapted to that background. And it's hard to do when you're first getting into it. And right now we have people that have been trading for a few years after that pandemic dump, which is what I was starting to say before everything crashed, getting into it, and they have a different personality. The ones that remain actually know what they're doing, so they're doing the right thing, and the market is moving more in the direction that you would expect it to if a lot of people were trading it responsibly. So that is happening, but that also means it's going to be irresponsible soon, and it's still irresponsible in certain ways. So we're seeing that in the way the market is moving, and that's why I'm holding mostly cash, because I think I can earn money on my cash right now, or I could take some risky trade. I don't see anything that's worth getting because it's very volatile. It's very stagnant. Long trades need volatility, and the power behind that volatility is people's desire to trade, desire to actually go with that. When Tesla was that big, people's desire to get in was the reason it pumped. When Bitcoin shot up, it was the same way. And you're looking for that when big institutions will also get in. And that's what we had in 2021. And the dumping of that is what we had in 2022. And now we're kind of having a rebalancing of everything because the dumping is still going on. We're having the environment is increasing. It's not like, oh, it's over now and we're back to normal. No, that was a different environment. Before everything went up, interest rates were different. The money was different. People had a different sentiment because they hadn't been through the pandemic and the rise. They had a whole different mindset. But in some ways, it was the same mindset because they were looking at all the same bearish stuff, like what it's all going to get us. And I can't deal with it, man. It's so hard. If you think about that stuff too much, it's like, all right, yeah, there's bearish stuff, but how do we get around it? How do you deal with stuff? How do you continue and go on? That's what I'm looking for. How do I keep going in the environment? Some people get stagnant and they fall out. And I think some people that are successful at trading do so in a way that is only in that one environment. And when the environment changes, they don't know how to adapt. I think that's the intermediate trader problem. There's like the beginner trader problem where they just never get it. And then there's the ones that get it, but then stuff changes and they don't know what to do about it. And, I think that pool of traders is now amongst us with the pandemic noobs, because they're not noobs anymore. They're experienced and they're moving things, and the algos are coming out, and like everything we were talking about is just amplified. So it's really interesting to see where that's going right now. So I'm just sitting on cash because it's paying me. So why wouldn't I? I have it in accounts where it's like, all right, this account, even if I don't buy anything, I'm earning interest. So that's cool to just like sit there. It's not going to beat inflation, but it's better than nothing. I mean, even if it's a little bit, if you're not doing anything with it, it helps as things multiply. So that's what I'm thinking about is how can I diversify making my money as many different ways as I want. The more, the better. And if you can manage them all successfully, eventually they will conglomerate and make like one decent sized paycheck for you. That's all you're looking for. You're trying to get a paycheck. You're trying to find something to do. You're trying to satisfy all these different needs with these streams. That's what everybody's doing, you know? And it's like, I just want to get on here and play some games and stop sitting around until I get kicked off the game. And so there you go. Trades went well. That's what I'm saying. Trades went well. It's 1999. We're going to go do some stuff. My level is 9, and I am 22% through the level. So I'm gonna fight for a little bit. And because this was a crazy day and it's getting late, I'm not going to do it for that long. But we need to actually get to the game. So to wrap up what I was just saying, I had 2 good trades. Beyond Meat, I shorted that little pop that happened because it was a clear squeeze and it needed to readjust. I expected the market to do something, mute, which is what it did. Even though it was crazy at first, it was kind of like where I expected it to be. We're still close to VWAP. That's what we're not looking at with a lot of these things. So let me just bring this up. So the SPY, this is not the volume that I was talking about because I have a shorter term time frame here, but this is a level it was sitting at right here for a while, and it kind of came up to it. And Friday it went above it. That's a big thing. So we're coming up on resistance in other areas. I have 3 lines drawn on the long-term charts that say where the big volume areas are. So I'm expecting it as it rises to get to that next line. So we've got a good like $5-10 if it continues to go before I question anything again. Like I can see a move like that with the way it has been moving be a target for the upside. And if it ends up going down, I can see it reclaiming this entire squeeze here, because a lot of this was a squeeze and elation and all that as people betting against the market. Each one of these is a day. We're looking at the last few trading days, and you can see it really just went around this middle section. Friday, here we go. We're enthusiastic about what's going on. So we'll wait and see what happens with the futures on Sunday, which is why I used to like to do the Sunday night thing. It's harder to do that than it is to do this. So I'm doing this now, and it's more fun because I'm playing games. But what I'm looking for is an upside and a downside target to even think about doing anything. And we're looking at the Fed meeting being the catalyst. So what does the market do before the Fed, which is in a couple of days? It's on Wednesday, and I'm going to be streaming that live Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to see what happens with the rates, Powell's speech. The summary of economic projections is coming out. So I'm looking for everything in there. That's going to be a crazy week. That's why I'm sitting back on the cash. It's like I can make the money just sitting here, or I can kill myself trying to get these trades that probably aren't going to work out anyway. So wait for the ones that you feel way more confident in and just size up a little bit on that. So somebody's saying, when do you size up? And I said, basically never. No, you got to size up sometimes, but you just size up responsibly. I'm dipping my toe in things. That's kind of how I invest now. I have separation of where my money is and how I'm making money. And then with the trading, I'm just trying to find things that work the best and grow those strategies. Because there are a few strategies that work in a few different environments, and it's like I could practice one and then the environment changes. So if the environment goes back to that, I've got that. Now I'm looking for something else. And that's what we're looking at here with this trend. We've gone up. Is this the top? Or are we going to come back down? Or are we going to keep going up? I don't know. Right now, it looks like we're going to keep going up, but the futures on Sunday will tell us if sentiment has changed. We've got a bunch of things coming up. Huge distraction. What do you know? Like, think about this. Here's the crazy thing. All people are talking about is this Trump thing because it just started happening really recently when this broadcast came out. But they're not looking at the Fed. You know, and the Fed is the important thing. And why is this happening right at this time? Because it could happen at any time. Well, there's political and financial reasons that line up. So, of course, it's happening right now. So much is being looked at, and then there's the way our money's actually moving. So what is the Fed going to say? I don't know. It's crazy. If they raise rates, I'm keeping money even longer because it just will be worth more. If you hold money as they raise rates, it's just going to be worth more. So why would I give up like guaranteed rising but slowly wins for just stressful periodic wins and losses? It's just so much easier to find something that works. And if you're going to go for those crazy ones, don't really size up very much. And that's what I did, man. I found the debt ceiling trade I was confident in, but the Beyond trade I thought that's just a total gamble. So I'm just buying something cheap. And what do you know? It worked out. Could have bought a lot more and done really well, but that's how it goes. I just don't want to get caught up in those other ones. So I'm working on sizing up on those plays a little more because I could have. I really bought the absolute minimum on this one, which kind of sucks. I didn't really have time before it, but you know what? Maybe it would be bad. It might keep going. It might not be over. I got what I got. I bought into some calls. I got out of some calls. It was good. And now what do we do? Well, we'll see on Sunday. And next week, that's the thing. What's the reaction next week? Because we've got the Fed Wednesday. So anyway, let's get back to the playing here. That was my thing. Made a couple of good trades, waiting for the Fed meeting. That's the big news. Get back to EverQuest. 1999. I've got a pet. I've got heals. I'm still a tank. I used to be a tank with nothing else. And having little stuff like that, which is like, oh, this is useless. When you first play it, and you're just like, oh, this sucks. This spell doesn't work very well, blah, blah. It's like, you have the spell, dude. It doesn't matter how well it works. When you don't have the spell, it sucks. It's like, yeah, I do a lot of DPS, and I get to press kick over and over again. I don't get to press bash. I'm not stunning. I don't have as much AC because I got 2 weapons in my hand. I'm DPS mode, and I'm trying to be tank DPS, and it's hard to do. You got to have 2 separate things. But you don't know that back in the day. Everybody just kind of did what they did. And like, here we go. We got a tank. We got this. Now it's like the DPS is separate. It used to be just have a tank, have a healer, and maybe someone that casts spells or does random shit. Now it's like all divided into categories, and people have studied it and figured out how it works the best. It's really interesting to see how it works. So I guess we're running back out to the common lands. I am no longer under the influence of the resurrection sickness, which is great because that stuff holds you down. And it's interesting. You're like, all right, I got res, but there's this. And I lost a little bit of experience. All right, I'm zoning right now. Zones don't even exist anymore. What's cool about zones is it lets you get out of a place, and it's just kind of an ending. It's like you're stepping through a portal, taking a look at a place, and then you can go right back if you needed to. That's every human's dream. It's just go right over. You have a place where we can escape whatever danger is there, which we kind of had in real life, but didn't realize not as much as we thought. That scares people when they find out. So people do crazy things to try to calm themselves down, and they make things worse. And here we are. We're playing EverQuest in a new era. 24 years later. This Project 1999 is happening because the main server is different now. The common lands don't look like they used to. This is a whole different setup than it used to be. The common lands, all these new huts, and the guards are just bleh. There's stuff that'll kill you out here too, but I'm a Shadow Knight, so I might actually be okay. Where I used to be all the good races, so I'd come out here and try to fight things. Excuse me. But I got to go out a little bit, which is fine. I'm level 10 now. I was doing Befallen, but not so well, so I'm just going to go up and see what we do and then log for the night. Hopefully I can get the level, but I don't think I will. I'm not using any experience potions, which they normally do. I did last time. It kind of sucks. It's like, all right, you can do that now, but then that takes some of the game out, you know. At the same time, it's like I've been playing this for so long, I don't want to have to do these really long things. So there's a place for people who can do that if they really want to, and then there's here for people who want it streamlined and kind of updated, but still the same, which I actually think they do a pretty good job on. It's not just like, what is the game? What's it become? Is Chrono ruined it? Is all this other stuff and these monetization? It was monetized from the beginning, you know, like I get that. It's not a big deal, but every single game you look at is following the same model now. I gotta get this now. It's following the same model. And, I should have used the strength, siphon strength on that thing. actually playing. That was the thing I needed to like play, and I'm trying to do that. But it's hard to go on these rants. I have so much to say, and I just get derailed all the time, and it's so difficult. That's why I love these streams. It's a chance to talk and just let it all out and actually do what I'm trying to do. And this time, I'm trying to keep a much better eye on chat, because last time I ignored everything. I was on this huge rant. I don't even remember what it is now, and I missed people coming in, and I feel so bad about that. And if you came in and talked to me, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was really going crazy on rants, and people have there's time constraints, and I get it. I'm distracted here, so I appreciate people coming in. Everybody that came in and I didn't acknowledge, I'm sorry. So it's awesome to have a place where people actually even will come in. You know, this has been the dream, I think, of everybody, is just be able to create this kind of a network, and the network is what propels you to the next level. It's not like some selfish thing. It's a thing that brings a lot of other people up, you know, and I think that's where we get confused. Like, we have to do the specific thing. It's like, no, just do what you do, and other people that do what they do will kind of like mesh around you. Oh, we're gonna get that, are we? Is that okay? That's fine. The orc's fighting it. It's always funny to watch NPCs duke it out. They're both level 1s. It's gonna be boring. Oh, the orc warrior. Wait, the spider might be a. What is the spider's a higher level? It's 2. It's orc bond 1. No, the orc one's going down, especially since it runs earlier. Boom. Watch out. Decaying skeleton. I need a real skeleton. These things are too low now, but I'll go for the bone chips. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, so it was an interesting week with the trading. I'm really looking forward to the Fed. That's the big thing, is the Fed. There's so much that's clouding people's judgment, and we have to think about what's actually important. And I know everything in the public is talking about important stuff. I'm not saying that's not the case, but the way things function so that we can continue doing that is what I'm talking about. Looking at the way things actually function. That's what we're trying to do with the market, and not just get on these trains of ideas that come from people that have narratives. Everybody's got a narrative when they're trading, you know, even if they say they're just, not just say, even if you yourself, you have a narrative, the way you're putting everything when you're trying to put yourself out there, you have to have some kind of thing like, all right, this is what I'm talking about. Otherwise people aren't going to look at you at all. And it happens all the time. People just put out a thing and nobody notices it, but you have to just keep doing stuff so that you have the chance to grab on. It's like you're trying to stick to the thing. You aren't the thing. You're trying to stick to it. That's really what's going on. Who's that? Zombie. Yeah. We're trying to just get out there and, play this thing first person. Get this wolf that's running faster than. Go here. Let's do. Oh, there we go. Pet can get it. That's what I'm talking about. It'd be nice to have the next level pet. So just so all the easy stuff is gone. I'm ready to get rabies. Let's do this. That's why I avoid these things. They give me rabies, but whatever. It's yellow. I'm gonna give it a shot. It's level 11. It's stunning me. I'm not actually rooted like I thought before. Stunned. Rude over there. I even said I was rooted. It's dumb. Get this thing siphon strength. Nope, gotta do it again. It's yellow. It's hard to get these things when they're yellow. Keep see, this is why I like it. There's actually something to do. I'm not just hitting bash. I'm trying to actually get this spell off. This is not working, man. That's what I love about being an enchanter or shaman or something like that. You get to actually debuff the magic resistance of these things. You can't really do that with this. I think maybe, I don't know if it's something. Oh, I've got 2 on me. I gotta fight 2 of these things. How bad is this? 2. Oh, that's a 12. That's even higher level. I'm out. I'm out, dude. I'm gone. It's gonna get me. I don't have a sow potion. I should have. Oh, 44 minutes on rabies. I wasn't ready for 44 minutes. The realism. Hopefully someone in the tunnel will get it. But you know what? You would have never been able to do this before. This is right now. The fact that I'm getting away without any kind of sow is just ridiculous. Unless you knew of a really weird pathing scheme, people would do that. They'd find these weird paths and they could just run away if they had to, or fear them and keep them on the path. And I'm still getting hit, so I'm not actually out of it yet. But I'm gonna run into the zone. Maybe there's people over there. Maybe there's not. We'll see. Getting out of here. I might die. Actually. Oh, I've got hard touch. Where you at? Where's the one? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Oh, I'm dead. All right, well, respawn again. This is how a professional plays this game. Just dies twice and doesn't do anything. Yeah, check out how fun this game I used to play is. Die. uh, but dying is fun, and that's part of it. It's 1999. We don't know how to play with the keyboard. We can't see what we're doing. I'm literally just kind of running around on instinct. I'm not really paying attention because I have to really form this thought. It's hard to do. It's not easy to form these thoughts. That's why I just keep blabbing and blabbing. I'm trying to check more. Do I think crypto is going to drop much? Okay, there's a question. So, crypto right now, even though, this is gray, it's following the market. I mean, there's a scandal with crypto. You notice the scandal with crypto and the scandal with Trump are all at the same time at a very important time. And that there's all these other battles going on like primaries, and it's just everything's kind of leading to one thing. And we're going to have triple witching coming up at some point, which is where all the futures and the stock futures and regular stocks and all the big money-making options and contracts of whatever variety they are expire at the same time, and it causes chaos when things are out of whack. So we've got a Fed meeting around that time. They have to consider that. What are they going to say? How are they going to move the markets after we get whatever their decision is? That's the important part, because we get the decision and then we get their take on it, and I'm waiting for that. So I got to wait another 55 seconds to get this thing worn off, and I need to resummon the skeleton, so I'm going to go back here. I have stuff. I was encumbered. I'm going to sell. All right, I can do something. I think next time I'm actually going to get one of those Sal potions just so I can run faster than all that stuff. If I could just run away, there's no problem. See, that's the advantage of today. Back in the day, you'd have to go pay someone for Sal, so you worked forever to get 10 plat, and they're charging 10 plat for a Sal. It's like, oh, shit, but I need Sal. So you do it and hope you can get more, which you can. It's just, you're struggling in the beginning. That's what you're trying to do. Just get that stuff. All that is gone. I don't need any of that except parrying dagger. Yeah. I want to keep that. Just in case. I don't really need it, but... Wait, I have a second. Yeah, I'll keep it. Put it here. What is this one doing? Okay, so I have 2 bags worth of stuff. Sell that. I don't even remember if you could originally sell in the bags like this. I think this was maybe a later thing, but all right, I was going to crypto. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So do I think that crypto is going to drop much? I think crypto probably will suffer a little bit more pain because there's so much just drama with it right now. The SEC's finally doing what they've been talking about for years. Are they going to actually bring this thing to trial? Is this another thing to just distract us too? Because it works. It's a huge distraction. People's money is a huge distraction. If you could mess with it, which they're doing, that can happen. So if it goes lower, if the market goes lower, it's going to go with it. Is this SEC lawsuit going to go through? I don't know. Let's get past this major just conglomeration of timelines colluding or colliding. There's so much stuff going on that all has to play itself out before we should be comfortable doing things, that I'm just leaving some of my money in the place where I'm guaranteed money. And the worst that happens is they bring it down a little bit, and the money's worth a tiny bit less, but it keeps paying me for the meantime. And I can look at the trend before I get into stuff instead of having to wildly chase it like the day traders and the swing traders of like all these different products. I'm just trying to keep it simple. I like the options. If at a certain point I like the shares, and then if you have other things that you do, that's fine. But those are the 2 things I mostly focus on. I focus on the crypto in the same way. So the stock market, crypto, options based on those things. And it's an easier way to leverage. You're leveraging your money. That's what I like. You're using a small amount of money to make a bigger amount of money without the same risk as trying to take loans and things like that. You're just trying to get a little bit more each time, and it works if you do it right. So over time, I think crypto, whatever happens, if this lawsuit's really going to this lawsuit is going to tell us what happens. That's really what we're waiting for. It's hard to look past something like that. Because if crypto is a security, so what's that problem? If crypto is a security, then they have to go by the SEC's rules, and they have to make so many different payments to so many different government and private and individual organizations and everybody that does everything with money. So they're trying to prevent as much of that as they can, but it's going to bleed through. So sell the bag, and we'll see what happens with crypto. Now, that may have been a metaphor. Am I selling that? No, I part of me is always invested in crypto. I look at it the same way I look at everything else. If you think it's going to do something, you can start a position in it, and you can build it as it proves itself over time. And so far, crypto has proven itself drastically. And even though it's in a slump, and it's going to stay in a slump for a while, because there's always the slump and the post-slump. So we've done the slump, and we're kind of at the end stages of the slump. Now we're entering post-slump. And the people that are new but are hardened aren't ready for post-slump.
So there's always a new challenge. That's why it pays to be experienced in a way where you can go past those levels and go, all right, the profitability is here, here, and here. And those 2 trades that I made, there's profitability in them. Now, anything after that, we'll see. So I want cash that's paying me. Now let's get back to selling the bags. I already did that. I did the same thing with all my plays. I sold the bags, even if it goes up, whatever, I made my money. That's my thing. Just get a little bit, get out, and keep growing. So I like this environment. I like an environment where you can hold cash and still play stocks. So it's not a bad environment if it's played right. It's just difficult to play because the volatility is so compact. You're not having these huge moves that allow for long contracts to be profitable. It's mostly just selling premium and betting against the people that think it's going to jump, because that's what it's been doing. It moves in a direction, but it doesn't move that fast. And we have these quick jumps that make you think it's going to do something else. Those corrections are sharp, and the volume gets sucked out of the system, and there's just small players moving stuff again. That's where we end up. That's where we are with the market, and that's what happens with this server quickly, usually. These TLP, time lock progression servers, where we're starting at the beginning, at a certain point, they get stale. And every year, it's quicker and quicker because people find they make connections and bonds on certain servers. I was looking at that, and then they just stop. So it's time. Like, certain people just don't want to play, certain people can't play, certain people are dead. It's been going on for a while. So these games that were new and were like the 2nd and 3rd generation, they're starting to get older now too. So we're seeing the effects of everything, and it's really nice to be able to go back to the beginning and sell stuff to this guy with the greatest graphics. This was amazing back then. These graphics they blew me away. It was like I was playing 2D games and suddenly a 3D game like this. I'm talking about MMO style games, not regular games, because like PlayStation, maybe even the buddings of PlayStation 2 was out at this time. But it was mostly Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation, Game Boys, Game Gears, and miscellaneous stuff. That was what you saw at the time. And the computers took everything, and then phones are taking everything, and then augmentation of those phones is taking everything now. So it just keeps moving and moving. And what'll be funny is at some point, games like this will just be, it'll be like a holodeck on Star Trek, and you'll be in these stupid games with these stupid graphics. But that'll be your experience. It'll be real. It'll be crazy. Because everything, I think people aren't going to figure, eventually, as you combine everything, you're going to find these mediums and kind of reduce everything. It's just this. And that's easy to do. But if you can let yourself appreciate some of the dumb things, like running around in a town with a stupid Ruby backpack open, you don't even close that stuff first. It's interesting. So I'm playing a little bit of Everquest. I'm not even going to get a level tonight. So my thoughts on all this stuff is, I think it is dropping a bit. I don't really know if it's going to. I can't say for sure. It's holding. It's right now because of the Fed meeting and the lawsuit. So everything you see with the lawsuit is going to move crypto immensely. That would be the next thing. So what do I do? The next time it moves, do I get on? I don't know. I wouldn't do that either, because crypto is going to be moving so much that I want it to find a range before it actually moves in that direction. So you feel comfortable doing that, where the mass is going with it. I don't have to overshoot it, because if you overshoot it, then you completely lose. And it's hard to get that middle ground right with profitability. You're either on the middle ground, but it's not profitable, or you're way off, but you're actually somewhat profitable. And those are the two things. It's like the power of options allows you to take the risk properly. And over time, it can add up if used properly. And it's not always done by a lot of people. But if you're responsible with it and just use it as a piece of the puzzle and not, I have to do this for everything, that helps so much. Taking some pressure off and just being able to go like, all right, this play looks good right here, the Beyond Meat one, but nothing else did because my cash is moving. I'm just going to let my cash move and chill while people try to fight it. And once that changes and the volatility picks up, then you get back into the betting. All right, this looks like it's going to move. I'm going to buy a little contract. Oh, that exploded. This looks like it's going to move, so I'm going to buy a little contract. Oh, that exploded too. Because those come up. When the stuff actually happens, you can't fight it. You shouldn't fight it. You should just go with it. Let it take your money where it's going to take you, and then pull the profitability off of it as you go, and diversify everything you have. Try to make money there. Try to make money with other things. Every individual way you can add to your income to put in here or do something else is beneficial. So it's like having it as one part is important, and it makes you think about the other parts. So what could I do to put a little more into these stocks or these trades? Well, that thought gets you more and more over time, because more capital makes it so that you can make better plays and different decisions. There are certain decisions you're not allowed to make with different amounts of cash. You're stuck at the level you're at until you can actually move to that next level that opens all those doors. And not everybody gets there, or some people go right past those and they go to levels where they're not ready for that level of money. You have to kind of learn about it over time. Instead of thinking about like, I do this to get money, you think about the money first and how to get it from there. It's not like, oh, I got to do this one thing. My my life revolves around this one specific thing that I'll do to make money. Now, you know, anything can change, so it's better to revolve your life around ways to make the thing that keeps you going. And that's what I'm doing. I'm looking into these trades, taking my money, backing up, letting it grow. I'm liking the environment, selling premium. There you go. I always used to be like, well, these people selling premium, they're lying, it's not working. Yeah, because you're going the wrong way. People are selling premium in 2021 to the upside. Sorry. That's going to hurt. Selling premium to the upside in 2020, that's going to be terrible. If you've been doing it that whole time and didn't hold on for this, well, you're out. That's terrible. So did you see Connell West running third? I have no idea who that even is. I'm blabbing right now. It's a thing. Third. I don't know, man. I'm so distracted, man. That computer crash sucked. I was playing the game. Everything was set up and ready to go, and it just destroyed everything. It's like the vibe too, not just the technology. Then I had to restart the computer and try to get Diablo going because I thought, all right, there we go. I'm just going to use this as an excuse to get onto Diablo. So I got onto Diablo. It wouldn't work with the setup. I had to make a whole new setup, and I was not ready for that after just recovering the computer and get everything working again. Because there's all the gear that comes with it too. It's basic gear, but you just need a little bit to sound somewhat professional. But even if it's shitty and you're using a directional microphone, you haven't hit something that's a little bit more open. At some point, I have another mic that I could use right now, but I just don't want to set it up. I was originally just trying to get the sound going, and I thought a directional microphone will allow me to have noise in the background and still be able to be heard. So that's what I'm doing. But at some point, I can use the room microphone, which would be great. And that's why I have multiple mics. I don't have many, but I have enough to do what you need to do. You have the close-up mic like this, and then you have the room mic, and the one that could be close or far, and it picks more of the ambience up, and you can create an entire background with your voice. With this, it's just giving you the raw material. That's why these kind of mics are used in speeches. You know, there's a lot of noise, people yelling and stuff, but you still got to hear them saying their dumb stuff. So that's what they're doing. Using one of these mics. That's what I'm doing right now. And I have the other mic. I'm looking at it right now. It's covered, but I'm looking at it. And I'll set it up at some point, and the quality of the show will go up so much. It's so nice to do this. Just get on and play. Will not play. That was the problem. I said I was just going to keep playing. I'm not. So I'm trying to play more, but this is what happens. I get stuck in these areas because I actually have to concentrate. So it's a game that's easy, and you don't have to do much concentration, but you need just enough to actually do something. Right now, I don't even know where I'm looking for. So I'm going to the bank. Yeah, so I think I'm going to park it at the bank and call this stream because this was crazy day. Am I on the row side? Is that why this is different right here? I think I'm on a different side, so maybe I'm not going to do that. And that's not it either. So here we go. Oh, I didn't go back. Ah, there we go. Okay, going this way. Going to the bank. Freeport East. See, it's so that's my one complaint with the city is it looks the same everywhere if you're first personing. But I think the reason they'd redesigned is because people weren't using first person anymore. People were using third person, like this. That happened quickly. And here I am, going past the bank, just right here. All right, so we got the bank. Go in first person. See what I got. Because I have other characters now too, and I'm trying to get everything going. You know, have some high levels, have some low levels. I mean, high level's 9 right now. It's so pathetic. I don't have time to actually do all this. That's what sucks. Is everything moves so fast. Doing it casually like this, people just pass you up. So I'm level 9. I'm just gonna go super casual on this, and see what happens when nobody cares anymore. You know. But there are people that do, and maybe you'll run into some people, make some great groups. That's one thing I loved about it. It's all people that do this are a fan of this game, so we get to exchange stories and have the old experiences, and we all know what's up. But we're gonna be dying few. I'm gonna put this ruby in here, keeping it. Don't need it, but I'll just do it anyway, so I don't have to loot it again. So I know I'll think the same thing. Oh, I'm gonna loot that. I'm gonna put this in a bag because I can give that to a different character. It's the part of the game where you find stuff. That's what I love. That doesn't last long in EverQuest. You get it for like a day or two, and then suddenly everything's so advanced, you're not just going to find stuff that's better. That's what modern games have changed. You find stuff no matter where. Everything's catered right to you. So you're like, oh, I've just found this thing I needed right away all the time, in a regular interval, and it doesn't let anything drop for a while. EverQuest does, man. Like, you go through these long droughts with EQ. It's like real life. You try to get stuff, you try to do things, and it sucks. And you think, it should be easy. There were days where I got tons of that. Well, not the days that you need them. That's how it works out, because you're always looking where you aren't. And I'm trying to look where I am. Put stuff in the bank. That's what I have going so far. I've got potions, EXP potions I didn't use that I could have used right there. So look at that. And I've got some stuff I didn't sell either, which I will put back in these bags over here. So that was an interesting stream. If you came in, I appreciate that. If there's anything else, pop it in the chat. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm going to get out of here. I'll do it again next week. I appreciate you being here. Be safe with the bunny. We'll see what happens on Sunday. And get ready for the Fed. That's the direction. All right, have a good night.